always new stories coming out, what seems daily, when it comes to what is happening along the southern border. Last week today, we got news that the June apprehensions were over 188,000 border apprehensions. We also heard this week that it's over 300,000 gotaways this fiscal year, and how COVID cases in the Rio Grande Valley sector surged 900%. Joining me on News Talk 710 KURV is Naim Sakhia. He is an immigration attorney. Naim, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Now, there's also news about what DACA and how if you are if you're trying to file, if you are a new DACA recipient, you can't file anymore. All these things going on. Also, Title 42. There is just so much to talk about. So I know, right? I first want to just ask you, as an immigration attorney, what it's been like just doing what you do. What have you been seeing, and what have you guys been going through since President Biden took over, since new immigration policies changed? What's it like for you?
Yeah, so we have been very, very busy explaining to our clients what is happening, what is likely to happen, what their course of action should be, what should be their hopes and realistic expectations. So there's a lot of hand-holding as well as legal explanation going on. So it has been busy, and it has been quite satisfying in the sense that at least we are able to provide them professional help and not leave them at the mercy of people who may horribly be taking advantage of somebody who's already vulnerable.
Yeah. What is it like? I don't know if you can maybe talk a little bit about cases or what. So, when someone reaches out to you, what is what you see most of, majority of?
So let's say, like, I have a client who was very worried about the ruling last week from the federal court in the Southern District of Texas. And I explained to them that the ruling, even though under the law I feel like the ruling is very sound, the ruling also has taken care of the fact that there are so many people who are already in the program, and they have relied on the provisions of that program and have created their lives around it. And not just those people who receive the benefit under DACA, but also those people who they are working for. So the employers have to rely on them. They have bought homes. They have created families. They're spending money in the economy. So the judge was very cognizant of that fact, and the judge said that people who are already in the program can continue with that benefit.
Yeah.
The new applications, USCIS can continue to receive them, but they cannot adjudicate them till the time this ruling of this judge is either appealed, or it has been overturned, or it has gone all the way to Supreme Court and a final decision has been made. And in the meantime, the judge also said that the real place where this whole thing can get taken care of is Congress. And the judge has said that Congress should basically legislate so that once for all, these people who are living in a limbo for the last 9 years can find some peace.
Now, you mentioned how it was, I think, Judge Andrew Hanen who last week said that if you are wanting to file to be part of DACA, that you cannot, but those who are already DACA recipients, they're still allowed under this program. Now, I guess my question is, if this is something that can bring both parties together, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. I think that's something that, or DACA is something that both parties can come together and meet in the middle and do something. And I think Judge Hanen, what his point is that President Obama kind of overstepped his boundaries, how it was a little bit of an overreach for what he did, his executive powers. Not that DACA is a bad program, but that what President Obama did wasn't the right way to do it. So to do something concrete, do something in Washington, it's been years since DACA was first implemented. Naim, why do you think it's taken so long for something to actually become law when it comes to DACA?
Well, I think what is happening since September 11, 2001, and keep in mind that right before that dreadful day, U.S. Congress had almost reached an agreement to do an overhaul of immigration reform. The last time immigration reforms happened was in 1986. So even back then in 2001, it was a long overdue, and obviously it has been 20 years since then. Ever since that happened, the political climate changed. The Republicans are very intent on getting the security part done first, and the Democrats have been saying that let's do both at the same time. And now that we are 20 years down the road from that 2001 situation, where there was almost an agreement, now they are saying that, okay, well, we will go ahead and put immigration provisions in the budget reconciliation process and try to get this passed through that mechanism, which requires only 51 votes rather than 60 votes in the Senate. So there is an expectation that if the Democrats are able to get through this immigration mess, at least a piece of it, through the budget reconciliation process, I think DACA recipients will be the first people who are being taken care of in that legislation.
Yeah, because I know that what Democrats are trying to do right now is trying to include citizenship for the 11 million plus people who are here illegally and give them a pathway to citizenship. And I mean, that can be another discussion. But I know when it comes to DACA recipients, that's something that I think both parties can agree and do something concrete. But like you mentioned, the political climate, who knows if anything will get done. But one thing I also wanted to bring up, joining me on 710 KURV, is Naim Sakhia, immigration attorney, is Title 42. That is going to end very soon. I was reading it was supposed to end last week. It was supposed to end this Wednesday. It still hasn't ended, but I know it's going to eventually end. Title 42. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen as an attorney once Title 42 ends?
Well, first of all, let me just clarify this. The Biden administration never gave a hard deadline to finish the imposition of Title 42. Mm-hmm. They had internally discussed that July 31st would be that day. Yeah. This is according to the NBC News. And now CNN is reporting that there is a real flux situation in the sense that they are thinking about not ending it on July the 31st because of the fact that the COVID virus has been found so rampant in that unvaccinated population. So it's likely that that imposition will not go away at this time.
Okay, because it's just so, it blows my mind, Naim, how different reports have different days. Like, I was reading on one source, it was going to end the 18th. Another source said it was going to be this past Wednesday. And then another source says, like you mentioned, it was going to be the end of July. But then now you're saying what you've recently read, that they're planning on keeping it for maybe past July 31st because of this surge in COVID cases. Did I understand you correctly?
Right. So what I'm saying is there has never been any hard announcement by the administration or CDC.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Title 42, Section 265 restriction is imposed by the Surgeon General with the advice of CDC. So White House has been taking a position that this is really not something which we are directly involved in.
Huh. I still have so many more questions to ask you, but we're almost out of time. Hopefully you have the chance to join me again, because again, there's just still so many questions and things to talk about, but we got to go. The show is already almost over. Naim, thank you so much for joining me and taking time out of your schedule to talk to us. That is Naim Sakhia. He is an immigration attorney.